Hi, Virgos. If you'd like to come on in, have a seat for some symbolic support. My name is Steph. Thank you for being here. Virgos, we're going to scry your scroll. We're also going to add on some oracle cards in the shaman's palm configuration going through your caves. And as well, we have the ghost tube here, seer version for any visual inspirations that may inspire. Receive or release freely, of course. So Virgos, when you're ready, you know the drill. If you'd like to join me, you're welcome to. If not, you can fast forward through and opening up. Taking a deep breath, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the race and the rush. Activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support in the name and honor of Virgo. Virgos, thank you so much for being my muse, for holding space for me to share my insights and allowing me to be a guest in your aura. I appreciate it. All right, Virgos, I'm excited. Let's dig in here. So your scroll, immediately what I'm seeing is one of those old-fashioned, I always say old-fashioned, but old for me, like fish tanks when we were young, and there was those little metal scuba divers in there. You know, and it was very like steampunky, what we would refer to maybe now as like steampunky, but it was this little metal scuba diver. And I'm seeing that in here. I'm seeing this metal, so there might be something in the mind. There's something going on in the brain cap, the way I'm thinking. I'm also seeing a conversation. And in this conversation, I want to add, like, it's almost like it's either elder to child or an elder essence speaking to you. I don't know if you resonate with that, Virgos, like you've been speaking with maybe a guide, a parent in spirit, even your inner child to adult awareness. I definitely feel like there's a conversation being had. And when I'm scuba diving, I'm back to the scuba diver, and I'm going all the way down. And it's like I can see on the surface that boat, and I've gone down. And I want to be alone. I've done this for like pressure. You know, like when you're scuba diving down and you land in the gravel of the fish tank. It's quieter. It feels quieter. But I know there's stuff on the surface. It's okay. There's stuff on the surface, and I decided to go within, or whatever the case may be. I feel like if you'll resonate, or you know what that is, whatever the context that is, what it is that you want, whatever your desires are, whatever the spirits are around you that you're communicating with. And this conversation on the top that I'm seeing, I'm also seeing something from what could be like a history or a past. And when I say, so it's going to be history. I don't know what past, because the culture is not indifferent in an ignorant way. It's almost like everybody's had different placements of history, of the same history, but different parts in it by being different characters. Okay, that was really confusing. But what it seems to be in relation to is like the witch's wounds. Is that a thing? I believe it's a thing. And there's a stepping forward of like this old pain from the naturalist. I don't even necessarily want to say like, oh, it's pagan, or I want to just open it up to naturalist, but it feels very witchy, or what other people perceive as being witchy. And I want to heal that. I want to heal the witch's wound. And it's like I'm hearing it's okay to do that. It's like in that same concept of with like an artist who may, feels very deeply, a comedian. It doesn't matter what kind of artistry, but sometimes in healing, there can be a fear or something along that lines. Because like, where's my magic going to come from? Where is it? You know what I mean? This is what I feel like as I'm underneath this water. I don't know if I'm seeking for that, but it's like I've got a light as I'm under this water, a Viking type cap. I'm having a conversation. It does feel feminine in nature. So it's like I'm curious. It's like the feminine energy. And now I've got welders here on my metal suit. And these helpers are like dogs. That's how I'm seeing them, as like dogs. Yeah. And it's like they're loyal to like fixing this suit, the armor, the body, the mind, body complex, whatever the case may be. Yeah, right in there, like with the ancestor of protection stepping through. And it's right in the cave of ice, the pinky. It's like coming out from some sort of prehistoric time. So going back to that, for lack of a better term, witch or wizard wound. Those who worked with elements, seen and unseen. And there's like welding going on as I'm down here so that any sort of hits I've had to take. But I went down here on purpose. For some, I feel like it was a hiding because there's surface activity that, I'll be honest with you, I was like avoiding, or I didn't want to get involved in. There's a crow, a bird, a raven, call it what you will. Oh, for heavens and hot dogs. Even a seagull is coming through. And it's like it's coming right at me. Like if you were seeing a bird coming right at you. And now I'm seeing it like, you know, those, again, it could be any sort of big bird. Not Big Bird from Sesame Street, but any sort of large bird. And I believe there's some particular, but forgive me, I'm in a liminal space, so my logical mind's not working. Maybe it's an eagle, maybe it's a crow, maybe it's a falcon. And anyway, there's little birds that kind of try and, maybe it knows it's predatory, or it trails it, and it's kind of like bothering them all the time. Because maybe it's in their airspace. Yeah, it's in their airspace. And they just rise higher. And it brings me back into this conversation, Virgos. It brings me back into the conversation that I'm having that feels like an elder essence that is saying it's okay to heal the wound and to bring that magic into the modern age without having to carry some sort of angst, retribution. That if I let this fight go in honor of ancestors, in honor of the heir of what happened in that history, it's going to repeat it if it doesn't change. Does that make sense? I feel like it makes sense. Okay. Sorry, Virgos. I'm going to continue going through the cave here. Thank you so much for joining me. Virgos, wandering into your cave of winds, what's in the mind. It truly is the challenge. This is the challenge of letting go, perhaps. Is it? It brings me back into that art thing, or it doesn't just have to be art, but being mindful that, you know, animation is art, our animated life force. And the challenge is to possibly let that go and come up from scuba diving. It's like seeing that scuba diver now, like slowly wandering up. And you have to stop to repressurize, because it's like I'm under the water. I'm under the water, and I'm slowly making my way up. And you know, like when you're swimming and you're slowly coming up to the surface, and you can start to see things come into fruition, right? But it's all watery, and I can hear noises, so I know now there's activity on the surface, but I can't predict it. It's not for me to predict, it's for me to interact with. I feel like I've been alone for a very long time for one reason or another. The journeyer right in your cave of hearth fires is stepping forward. Sorry, I'll bring this up with the other lighting, or with the other view. This is in this deck. This is you, the journeyer in the cave of hearth fires, in your heart of hearts, not just your human heart, not just your spiritual high heart, in the heart of hearts. And there's something about like mind health and heart health, pressurizing, and it's like seeing things as you're slowly coming back up to the surface. It's getting my heart pumping, like what's going to be on the surface. And it's reminding me of, at least out here in like Lake Erie, I can't remember if it's like Turkey Point or Port Dover, wherever it is. And I don't even know what it's called, to be honest with you. I'm going to call it a podunk thing, but it's not. It's something where all the boats go out and they have like a party on the water. And this is what it feels like. There's a party on the water. But you might be like, I don't want it to be a party of the water. So you had to go, go down a little bit and go deep for whatever reason, or hide under the surface, looking for different things. Whatever the treasures are, it does definitely feel like for some there might be that healing the witch's wound or the wizard's wound. Also maybe shamanic journeying or traveling soul retrieval, really, or anything. It doesn't even have to be so mystical. It can feel very simple and profound in a, oh, this is what I really wanted to do. What happened? Or how do I get back there? Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. I also feel like over here I've been dodging. Like I feel like I've been dodging asteroids underwater. What are asteroids? What would asteroids be called underwater? I'm not really sure. In your cave of rivers, and you're feeling the hunter of mysteries and the shaman of foresight, which is so interesting. So as the journeyer, it even looks like it's like exploratory. It looks like a phoenix, a fire underwater. The way I'm feeling is this is all very mysterious, whether you're going down deeper, knowing you can always jump back in and scuba dive again when needed to retreat, replenish, to restore, whatever the case may be. But the mystery here is how I'm feeling is I want to try and predict this, and I can't. Because the challenge is to come out of the water and lift up. And it's like as soon as I see you coming up out of the water, it feels like not everyone's going to stop it. Oh, there it is. Not everyone's going to stop and stare at you per se. But there's definitely going to be like, ah. That's ah. And there's even like Scottish, they look like Scottish right dogs, and there's smaller ones in here. And that same loyalty that maybe you felt that had left at some point in time, or even the loyalty to your own love or self-love, relationships, the job you wanted, the dream you had, and it needed to look like this, it needed to be this way or that way. And maybe it didn't happen that way. And maybe I'm building it that way. And I'm when I come out of the water, and it's like one of those like almost like, like sexy movies, and you come out and just everything, you're like glistening. You're glistening. In the cave of earth, we have here shaman of sorrows. Of course, you know me, please see, sense, and feel for yourself versus worrying about my earrings naturally. But I want to note here in this card, the way it's making me feel, it's like you can always take bites of that. It's like taking your medicine, retrievaling things. I don't know if the lighting will let it go through, but see how there's like those two little dots in there? It's like taking your medicine. There's and this is like taking the medicine, walking the waters. It's like I'm seeing someone take water pills or something like that, or sipping water, whatever the water, that inner feeling, at least the way I'm sensing as being that scuba diver, and metal is a big element stepping forward. But to not assume that coming back to the surface, whatever that is, maybe you're stepping back into something you wanted to do, or you're like, I don't know, whatever it is, Virgos, you know better than I. To not predict it to be sorrowful as it was before, as it was in your own history, right? You're like, oh, I've done this before and it's going to suck. Or I failed myself. Or I can't believe that happened. I can't believe I fell for it again. This isn't actually all negative Nelly. It just, how do they say? We're not going to focus on, primping and trimming the positive things that are at play. So these are just the things that are, because this is how fine detailed I believe you are at this time. This is how it's feeling to me. I also want to note that in your scroll here, I'm seeing it like a, how do I say, a back catcher or an empire of baseball. They work pretty closely together, or at least I'm seeing them close together. But it's like they have that padding on the front. Just like when I was going under the water scuba diving, I had the metal, the suit, and now it's like I'm back in my corner, or maybe something, you're placing yourself in the corner, not in a punishment. Nobody puts baby in a corner type thing. This feels like I am ready. Whatever I might have been dodging before, these asteroids underwater, now that I'm on the airspace, I am going to just catch them. And look right at them, and I'm going to toss them back. Maybe even throw them in the water. I don't know. Okay. Sweat Lodge. Even with that card, like I feel as though it's the night sky. Maybe this is subconscious work. Like I said, shamanistic, the witch or wizard wound, elders coming through. You are being led through this by that elder. You know what it also makes me feel like right now, Virgos? It's like one leg feels longer than the other. I feel like that's a weird thing to say, but nonetheless, there it is. It's like, but something's going to, like, you know, if you're like drying clothes and you hang them to dry to get them to stretch out a little bit, or you put them in the dryer to shrink a little bit. There's alchemy at play here with your elders, your ancestors. There's those birds again. The loyalty's on both ends. No matter which surface you are opting to interact with. I want to note this feels like a clock. Like, or not necessarily a clock, but like nighttime, sunrise. I guess it would be the other way, but it's fine. Sunrise and sunset. Spirit keeper of the east and south, if those directions mean anything to you. Facing east, sun rises, sun sets. South, your reputation, your solar plexus as well. Can we get an aura scroll for Virgo, please? Look at that. All that sacral energy shining through. It's even like pelvic-y. Like I'm feeling like something like a hinging point. I'm going to add on a Metatron card to support this, and we'll see. Thank you so much for being here, Virgos. If you haven't already, thank you for like, sharing, and subscribing. For bearing with me as I'm learning new camera things and having a great time being a student. Love it. Student of life. But thank you for being here. And for those that do support, you warm my haunted heart. Truly. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Enough of my yammerings. The spirit keeper of the south is like that light I was seeing underwater. This is the light I feel like I'm seeing coming up to the surface. Here's the funny thing. I'm coming up to the surface from underwater again to the boat. I think I'm coming to the same place I left. And I'm not. I feel like I just suddenly time traveled into a different location. The surface has changed. It's like I saw time just like go by, and you come up and it's like, oh, it's, the modern age. But maybe whatever this healing is, whatever this, and not, the hurt healing to healed, it's like shifting into the healed. Does that make sense? Not lingering and healing in this constant state of healing. It's like the elders and the ancestors of this air are saying, please be the one who leads by healing it. It's healed. Cosmos mirrors you. And this is there's a new way that I'm seeing crab and lobster over here. The pinch of the past, releasing the handcuffs, the pelvic pivoting point. When I'm looking at this Cosmos card, sorry, I know it's very shiny over in that one spot. It's like I'm seeing the water again. And now it's like I can be on land, dip my toe in water or let my feet be in water, but also gaze up and look at the sky and see that element as well. There's lots of elements at play here. There's so many elements at play. And then I have here blue, Madonna and Mother. This is that conversation that was happening here. So you might have a mother in spirit. You also might have a feminine, again, witch, warlock, call it what you will, a natural energy from the past that's stepping forward. Passion, love for life. Like I want to put that right there. I got a love for life. Is that Ziggy or Iggy? Iggy. All right, Virgos, this feels very profound. I'm going to grab you a tree before you go, a tree card if you'd like a little earthly inspiration. A lot of deep blue hues. I feel like bruises from the past and like really prehistoric, even into the personal present past reflection. And I got nothing but sunrises and sunsets to enjoy. I feel like it's been a journey to catch this concept. The holly tree's coming forward for permanence. The beech tree for vitality. Anything else for Virgos as we're closing out? And the mulberry tree for insight. I will switch these so you can see them with me. The holly tree, permanence, Virgos, a great awakening through enlightenment. Evil is warded off by your devotion to good. 5, change. Maybe you're also working with the holly tree, or maybe some of you are working with Hollywood. Hollywood. The beech tree of vitality, which this is what this feels like. The love for life, east, and the spirit keeper of the south. I feel Virgos have so much vitality, but there's been drains and strains, and it's recapturing those one by one. If anything's been seeping on a Virgo, The beech tree, vitality and fortune smile upon you through opportunities that you create, and you really are the one creating them. This is I think what's unknown to a lot of people is even the patience, being the scuba diver and coming back up, the patience to do that, the perseverance. The mulberry tree, insight. Undermining influences destroy themselves by destroying their host. Good times and good fortune now return. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. Dun, 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 dun. Pop goes the weasel. Virgos, I am so honored for this. It's actually like taking my breath away for a moment, like coming up to the surface or whatever. This has been I feel like I've just, Virgos, it's a lot, but it's worth it. Because what's worth your worth. What's worth your time and attention now, moving forward. Vitality, good fortune, and the permanence of all of that. There's a cleaning house for sure to bring in the good. Virgos, until next time, I want to thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I will see you again soon.